Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your boy Mike. So, brief update. Finally heard back from one of my committee members, so I just need one more. Getting close. But this video is going to be about when to progress in your career. So, we had a leadership offsite last week, Thursday and Friday, like I mentioned in a previous video, and we are just talking about like leadership styles, like personality types, things like that. Things to look for. But during that meeting, they mentioned a position. It was like after that meeting, but in the same meeting, they mentioned a position that they're going to be putting up, as available, which is a position I've been looking for, with one slight caveat. And then they also mentioned like some potential upcoming positions. They didn't say what kind of positions. They said that they will be looking to add in more positions, but they didn't say what it was supposed to look like. So like, okay, potential growth. I like growth. Your boy is all about growth. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all that stuff. Career, financial, all that stuff. Your boy is about the growth. So the position that I was looking for is my boss's level. However, there's one thing I don't have on that, which is kind of critical, and it's also the reason why I was applying for my current position. No, previously it was like 6 months before I actually applied for my current position, but it was on a different team. The other team is more behavioral health, which is a lot of A&D, a lot of anxiety and depression. And some of the things that those A&D coaches go through, talk about, is next level stuff. It's like talking to one of the coaches, I'm like, this is sad stuff. And the reason why I didn't apply for it previously is because, like I said, I felt like I'll be doing a disservice to this team if I was their manager, since I don't have that background, and I want to know how to. I didn't think I didn't have the confidence in myself to best support this team the way that they may need to if things get rough, because things can, will, and do get rough on that side. So my respect to all the behavioral health people working behavioral health, whether you're a tech, whether you're an RBT, whether if you're a psychiatrist, psychologist, if you're just an overall health advocate. Hats off to you, because that is a intense realm. Like I said, granted, I was a sitter for a while, and at my old hospital, if like all the techs were sitters. So whether you're a CNA, whether if you were like a monitor tech, you had some sitting responsibilities. Now, depending on what experience you had, whether it was like monitor tech or a CNA, you had different responsibilities that you can do. Like, as a monitor tech, you pretty much just watch the patient. As a CNA, you're able to do vital signs, help feed them, bathe them, things like that if they needed that kind of assistance. But you had the ability to do that things because of the education and certification, so on and so forth, that you had. So I have a very, very little experience with behavioral health. I don't have any certifications, but I just have that slight hands-on experience whenever I was a CNA. So I have a little bit of knowledge, and talking to my aunt who used to work in behavioral health. I'm not sure if she still does on occasion, but she was a behavioral health nurse, and just talking to her like on occasion, just like hearing her job, it's a rough job. So the position that they posted is not my level, but a level above that for that side. So you need to have the behavioral health experience, and I have everything but that. And I was like, man. But I still reached out to them. I was like, hey, there's some growth potential, so on and so forth. And they're like, yeah, but again, because of the behavioral health background, you don't have, so it may be a little bit more difficult. And I was like, you're right. So I was thinking about that, and then I remember I was watching something, and then they brought up Lean Six Sigma, which is a methodology style of performance, like of streamlining performances and within a business. So I was thinking about that, and I've heard about it previously, and I was thinking about looking into the certifications, because there's a couple of different levels. There's white, yellow, green, black, and master black. And I'm not sure there's levels in black or master black. I saw one thing that said it had levels one, but most of them just say the 5 levels. So I was like, interesting. So I heard about that. So I sent a message. It was yesterday. I sent a message to the leaders that were talking about things. So again, so you have myself, my boss, his boss, like his boss, and then yeah, her boss, and then his boss. So way up there. I've talked to her boss previously, so like 3 levels above me. I talked to him previously 2 years ago at the leadership offsite that we had in Arizona, which was a blast. But I've never talked to his boss. This is my first time like talking to his boss. We talked briefly on a leadership offsite. I answered a question, but very very briefly, nothing too engaging. So I reached out to both of them. I reached out to my boss's boss's boss, and I was like, "Hey, this is something I remember that you're talking about different positions coming under you. Do you know what those are going to entail?" So we spoke about it very briefly. He couldn't give me too much information because it was a lot of information. It was like, this is something that we're working on, but there's nothing solidified, nothing in writing. It's just more of like an idea that may come into fruition compared to having it in hand. So like, okay, cool. And then I was like, yeah, because I'm graduating pretty soon, and I still want to grow. And he remembered talking about graduation previously. So yeah, congratulations, da 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 da. Just kind of chopping up a little bit. When I reached out to his boss, I was like, hey, thank you for the for teaching us. Last week I learned a lot, particularly with the color theories and colors and learning styles and personality styles. This was some really good information. I did hear, no, I told him, no, I'm graduating pretty soon. And I was like, and my goal is I want to progress. And I was talking about, I actually mentioned, like, if you knew anything about Lean Six Sigma, anything like that. And so he was talking about it briefly. And he was saying, yeah, it's something that he's been looking into, but doesn't know a whole lot about. He asked me if I had any experience with it. Or he said, yeah, how much experience do I have, or how much knowledge do I have about it? And I was like, I have a little bit of knowledge about Lean Six Sigma, not too much knowledge about the certifications, but because of my MBA, we were talking about pipelines and KPIs and bottlenecks and things like that, and that's when I was first introduced to Lean and Lean Six Sigma and things like that. And there's also things called Kaizen, which is a variation or version of Lean Six Sigma. So we're talking about that briefly. And he was like, yeah, as you're finding out more information, let me know. We'll keep kind of talk about it. So, thank you. I appreciate it. So, things coming up in the pipeline. Like, so some big things that are coming up. Some potentials. But I was like, when should I apply? Or should I apply? Talking to one of the guys who was hired, at the same time as me as a coach and as a CTM. He's a really good dude. We think a lot alike. He's just a lot better with words, with his phrasing, his terminology. I call him Shakespeare because the dude is like, he's really good, and he's just a genuine nice person. He's a genuine person. He's just a nice person. I can't speak more highly about dude. He's awesome. And I was asking him, I was like, hey, you're gonna apply for the position? And he's like, no, I was thinking about it, but I don't have a behavioral health background. Are you? And I was like, same exact thing. I was thinking about it, but I don't have the behavioral health background. And he was like, dude, he's like, I will follow you wherever you go. It's like he's like, I will respect you as a leader or as a peer. And I was like, same, because like just the way that he communicates with people is, again, he's one of those people that it's like he's a leader. He's the person that you would want to back up. Just how he is as a person, how he is as a manager, how he is as a peer. It's like, I will follow you because it's because of who you are. You're just a dope person, and you genuinely care about people and progressing physically, mentally, emotionally. Just some the same things I talk about. Again, we're literally like almost the same person. We think a lot like we're into some of the same stuff. He's my dude. So we were talking about that, and we were like, no, just briefly going back about like concerns that we had, and I was like, dude, do it. And then he was like, you should do it. So I posted a meme. I was like, may the best man win. So I'm gonna talk to my boss tomorrow because we have a one-on-one every week. Talk to my boss tomorrow. I'm not sure what he had in store for our one-on-one, because sometimes we have topics, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just kind of go off the cuff a little bit, but it's all good. It's still a good time, just chopping up a little bit. So I'm talking to my boss tomorrow, pick his brain a little bit, see what he thinks, because my boss is very chill, very down to earth, but honest, which I really respect. He's like, hey, do your job. But I'm gonna tell you if you're messing up. I'm like, okay, I like it. I like it. You know, we have a great relationship overall. So I'm gonna talk to my boss tomorrow, see his thoughts. I want to know throughout the three things that I mentioned. You know, about the current position that's posted, the positions that aren't posted yet, and then Lean Six Sigma, and that's something they may be talking about later on. And that may be my 2026 goal, because your boy's gonna need a break of studying, at least for a little bit, because it's been a busy 3 years, well, 2.5 years pretty much. But I was like, I can start this as soon as I can. I think the white belt is free. I think the yellow belt, costs relatively a little bit, nothing too much, but we can get tuition reimbursement, which is a good thing. I haven't used it yet, so I think they said that you have to stay with the company for like 2 years or so before. No, if you use a tuition reimbursement, you have to stay with the company for like at least 2 years, or else you have to pay it back or something like that. So if I get a higher position, I'm like, I'm gonna stay here. I'm like, why leave if I get a higher position? It doesn't pay me more than what I'm making right now. It doesn't make sense. So if I get a higher position, I will look into the Lean Six Sigma, the certifications, things of that nature. In a different time format possibly, just to see, what's up, how I can, make myself irreplaceable. That's the thing, because everyone's irreplaceable. Everyone's replaceable in a business, unfortunately. No matter if you're Jane Doe that works in the mailroom, if there's still mailrooms, or if you're the CEO that has 20 years of tenure. Everyone is replaceable in a company, but you have to make yourself as irreplaceable as you possibly can be. Whether it's your leadership style, how you volunteer for different things, your education that you have, the certifications that you have, just getting your face out there, just being a team player, whatever you can do to make yourself as irreplaceable as possible, that's what you have to do in a corporate world, because it's tough. It's a dog eat dog world. For the last positions that we posted for the part-time coach team manager, for the part-time health coaches, we had 10 spots, 9 or 10 spots available. If I'm not mistaken, I think they said we had over 200 applications. So, what can you do to make yourself stand out? That's something I talk to my coaches about all the time. Is I'm like, hey, have your career resume. So anything that you've done in the company, write it down. Whether you're volunteering for different things, whether you got promotions, whether if someone gave you what we call a headset hero nomination, so it's just like a kudos type thing. Like whatever you've gotten that speaks fondly of you, write it in your career resume. This is something that I was told by Shalana. It was a variation of that, but I kind of took that and kind of use that with my coaches, just so I can help them get as much exposure as they can. So wherever they want to go in the company, I'm here to help them out. Whether they just want to stay where they're at, whether they want to grow vertically, horizontally, I'm like, hey, write these things down, just so that whenever they're choosing you from Johnny, then there's like, okay, Johnny has done one thing, you've done 15 things. Who are we gonna pick? You know what I mean? Johnny's called out of work or just no call, no showed. If you get sick, you kind of call and just let me know what's going on. You know what I mean? So that's a tactic I use with my coaches. Is like, hey, whatever you do in your career here, write it down. Make sure you have like a time, date, or whatever it is. So that way, the next time you're going for a position, a higher position, a vertical position, a vertical or horizontal position, whatever you try and choose between you and so and so, it's like, hey, this is what I've done here. No, I'm making myself as irreplaceable, and I want to show myself as much of a team player as I possibly can be, just to kind of boost your odds a little bit. Not saying it's going to guarantee you a spot, but it makes people like, okay, this person wants to be here. They doing a little something. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's something I tell my coaches all the time. But yeah, so this is where I'm pretty much at. And the last time I had a dilemma similar to this was last year, where there was a position that legit had almost had my name on it. I think I mentioned this before, that it was the level I was going for, the the degrees that I had and was going for, the salary that I wanted. The only thing is I felt like I didn't have the experience as a manager, but now I have a lot more experience. I know I've been a manager for almost 2 years. I've seen a lot of things. I've helped out with a lot of things. I helped out with like 4 rounds of hiring. I've had to have the difficult conversations. I've had to have the fun conversations. Like, hey, unfortunately, we gave this to somebody else, or hey, congratulations, we're extending this offer for you. So I've had to have both conversations. I've had to have retirement conversations. I've had to have performance improvement plan conversations. I've had warning conversations. I've had to have, okay, no, we have a mini fire going on. What can we do? How can we reroute people or this to put out these mini fires? Um, I've been able to, almost volunteer my coaches for different positions, for like different like volunteer positions, so they can just get their name out there and kind of be on the front lines of of change, if you will. So that way they're building their resume. They're like, hey, I've done this and this and this in the company. I was one of the first people to kind of like mention this bug, this bug, this bug to help the overall performance. Again, Lean Sigma. How can we work on this performance improvement? How can we reduce as many bugs in the system as we can? How can we just make things a smoother process, so it's better for us, for you guys, for our members, and for our pockets. So just trying. I've done a lot of things, in my short time as a manager. Are there more things I want to do? Oh yeah. Again, I flew to another state to help with the coaching, and that's something I'm going to post in my in the next time I apply for something. I was like, yeah, it's like I have like 3 emails from people just like, hey, thank you for your help and this and this and this. So I'm sitting there like, hey, your boy got receipts of things that I've done. So I'm like, hey, if I got receipts, I'm gonna try to get my coaches to have some receipts too, just so they can get their names out there. Because again, I'm all about the growth. Whether I know you directly or indirectly, how can I help you out to grow? Whether it's just, hey, do this, or if it's just like a video like this, I'm just chopping up with you guys and tell you guys what I've done to kind of help me get to where I'm at, so that way you guys can take what I've done, modify it to your situation, so you can kind of boost yourself up a little bit. So I'm just here to support. I'm just here to help people out. So yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'm gonna talk to my boss, see what his thought process is, see what his thoughts are. If I should apply, if I should wait, see what's coming up. But if I do apply for this position, it's gonna give me a nice little pay bump, because I've seen the pay range that they're going for. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm good with that. Even though I get into the middle of the pay range, I'm like, I'm cool with that. Is it gonna be where I want it to be exactly? No. Is it gonna be what I want to make it now? Yeah. And I'm okay with that. So we'll see what happens. But until then, just plan and wait. Plan and wait. That's all I can do. And hopefully I get another sidetrack. Hopefully, my last person responds, so they can so I can move on with this paper, because I'm technically behind right now. So that's fun. So yeah, just want to stay here, chop it up with you guys a little bit. I'm gonna read to see what my classmates posted, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the night. But until tomorrow, later.